Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. I'd like to make a proposal and present it to you, the American people. This proposal is about peace, prosperity, and joy for every American citizen. This, to me, seems as though it's a wonderful, wonderful pursuit and eventually an attribute of the American society. We're living in a world today, ladies and gentlemen, where we have all types of crime and violence and terrorism and war. We have poverty, the results of poverty, which has to do with a lot of laws being broken, has to do with a lot of the prisons being filled with people who have violated what we call the standards for this particular system. And in reality, if we look at it, the system has created these scenarios where all of this violence and all of these things that's contradictory to life exist. And it is because of reasons that can eliminate that I come to you and make this proposal to you. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I see that we the people, every last one of us, would like to see our dreams come true. And our first standard of dreams coming true has to do with survival on the face of this earth. Not just in America, but on the face of this earth. When we talk about survival, we're talking about those things that are essential for living, continued living. Not just oxygen and water, but stuff like food and clothing and shelter and education. Education has its place. Healthcare has its place. All of these things are essential for us as human beings to progress in life. And I believe that every last one of us want that. And the only way I can see that we can achieve these things and exist in these things is to pursue them and guarantee them to ourselves. We are living at a time when it appears that people are not concerned about one another, that they're basically concerned about themselves. And as a consequence, we have the type of society that I've just spoken of. Not only that, we hear that there are those who we have selected to represent us in places of outside of our reach. And the indication is that they've sold us out for one reason or another. The situation indicates that there are people who are behind the scenes, people in this country and other countries, who are members of secret societies, who have their own agenda. And their agenda is not the same agenda as the public's agenda. The public is basically concerned about living a happy life, living a wonderful life. But those who are living in a secret society, they are focused on controlling, manipulating things to their advantage at whatever price, whatever cost. And so I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, in this proposal, we can defeat that. Now, all of those things that I've just mentioned that are essential for our survival, many of you might think, how can that be? How can that be provided for? I'd like to share something with you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure that you would agree. I'm standing on this earth. Now, you and I have nothing to do with the creation of this earth, not even those of the secret societies. On this earth, all of the stuff that's needed outside of oxygen, even oxygen, with the trees, it helps to provide that. Other than that, all of that stuff, whether it's in the earth, whether it's on the earth, or whether it's above the earth, whether it's seen or unseen, it has provided for us all that we need to continue our existence here so far. But it just didn't do it alone. It needed something from we the people. We the people have ambitions. We have desires, specific desires. They're not the same ones. And we have a yearning to be able to exercise these gifts in our life. And it was designed as such so that we can contribute, we can participate in the creation of those goods and services which are so essential. And so in order to produce all of those things that we have already produced that plays a role in our survival, and to do it in such an extent that the abundance is there, so that every last one of us, those who are receiving it today and those who are being denied it today, can come into the fold and receive of that. And how is all of that done? It's done by offering careers of choice that allow each of us, you and I and others, to go into a career that we love, not just playing basketball or some other kind of sports, but whether we're engineers, whether we're teachers, whether we have any other role in society, perhaps digging ditches, building bridges, making cars. All of these things are open to us. They've always been, and they still are. But we have dreams and aspirations of going far beyond where we are today. But in order to do that, we must be able to deal with the things that we deal with today in a manner so it does not destroy us, wherein lies peace, prosperity, and joy. So what I'm proposing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we change our system. We change our way of doing things. When we say that our politicians have sold us out, those who we chose to or had put before us to represent us in situations where we can't reach ourselves, and we say that they've sold us out to these secret societies, those secret societies are not just buying our politicians, not just putting us in a position where we are sheep, where we are just slaves struggling from day to day, working 8 hours or more with overtime for those who are blessed to have a job, just to make ends meet. Wherein is their life? That is one of the reasons where we hate each other. We have been divided and conquered by a lie. A lie, ladies and gentlemen. There are none of us that's more important than any other. And every last one of us have something to offer that's essential in the creation of this peace and prosperity and joy that I speak to you of. Now, I realize that there are many people who don't believe in God. I believe in God because I know this earth exists, and I had nothing to do with it. You had nothing to do with it. Now, when I say God, I'm talking about the ability to do stuff that humans can't do, that humans don't do. So I credit that to God. Peace and prosperity and joy does not exist on this earth because of selfishness. So for it to exist, I credit that to God. But even if you don't believe in God, the truth is this: if you put certain principles to work, they will produce an outcome if that's what you're seeking. And so this is what I'm seeking. We have before us in the United States of America 2 candidates running that have been put before us saying our choices for President of the United States. And the things that I've just described to you, neither of these candidates even focus on it. They talk about each other, how demonic the other one is. And even for the things that they say they can do, they're not new. We've heard this all of our lives about people who are going to be able to achieve these things and don't even go in that direction. So I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, let us stop for a minute. Republicans and Democrats, stop for a minute. You want what you want, and the others want what they want. Who's entitled? Both of you are entitled. But you've been deceived to think that if one has it, the other one can't. And so you fight against each other. That's a trick. You're smart enough to know that's a trick. You were a kid. You played games once before. You know when trickery is in play. So this is a trick. Why? It keeps us separated, and somebody walks down the middle laughing at us because they get what they want. They get a chance to rule us because we can't rule ourselves. We keep buying into the lie. I'm asking you, stop buying into the lie. White men, black men, under your skin, you are men. You bleed alike. Your color just makes us uniquely beautiful one to the other when you put them together. That's a magnificent thing. Short hair, gray hair, which I've been trying to dye all the time to hide. It makes us beautiful. So let us consider these things that are wonderful, those things that are great, those things that live and produce joy. These, Donald Trump, Miss Clinton. We got people saying, well, I'm going to go for one because I don't like the other one. I'm going for the other one because it's better than the other one. And none of it serves the purpose of Republicans and Democrats. None of them serve the purpose of men and women. None of them serve the purpose of black and white. None of them serve the purpose of old folks and young folks and babies and people that are dying. None of them serve that purpose. It serves the purpose of those who are deceiving us. We're having challenges every day that we have the power to straighten up. Now I realize that you're not traditionally geared toward listening to a black person like me, especially one who's committed his life to make sure that that life is spent to benefit you. One who has gone to jails and prisons just to try to get your attention to know that there is something more beautiful than this. I have done that. Miss Clinton hadn't done that. She might have done a lot of lying and cheating and stealing, but she had not been in jail. Donald Trump hasn't done that. He might have done a lot of lying, cheating, and stealing, but he hasn't been to jail. And when they did these lying, stealing, and stealing and killing, they were doing it for their personal benefit, not for your benefit. When I go to jail, it's for the benefit of humankind, because I want you to know that these people are lying to us. They are lying, ladies and gentlemen. You got those of you who are thinking about getting married, those of you who are just married and bringing other kids into this world. You know what the struggle is like. You know it's not going to just go away. And Donald Trump is not going to do something straight across the board for everybody. Clinton is not going to do something straight across the board for everybody. And if any of these are not going to work for the benefit of every American citizen, then we who vote for one is voting against the other one. We're saying that we want ours, and to hell with the rest. And if you can say that, then you are entitled to all of the hell that comes your way. I'm telling you, you are entitled to all the hell that comes your way. You cannot put a rotten egg in a cake and think the cake is going to be fine. That cake is going to be rotten. So you got to take out the rottenness. And I'm trying to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, we as human beings want the same things. Now, those who consider themselves secret, they got a different agenda. They want to use us to get what they want. In fact, they want the same things we want. They just want more of it. And to do that, they got to find some way to keep us down. Now, this message that I've just given to you, if you go on the internet, for Eddie Marcus, you'll find this stuff been talked about for years. I don't care if I'm talking about grass or trees or the sun. I end up coming back saying that the power is in the hands of the maker. The sun and the grass and all of that. The maker made that. But peace between you and I, that's us. And that comes out of our heart, not out of our mind. Our mind has been programmed by everything that we see to deceive us. But our heart isn't. Our conscience isn't. So why don't we? I'm asking you, why don't we? There are people sleeping in cars. There are people on every street corner throughout every city and state of this nation with a sign saying, help the poor, work for little or anything, sleeping under bridges, sleeping behind dumpsters, sleeping in cars. All of these things are going on, ladies and gentlemen. And we think just because it's not us, it must be something that they are doing. No, it's not only something that they are doing. Yes, they are playing a part in it because they're sitting down accepting it. And you who say you're good are doing nothing to protect the people. And we're all victims of a lie. We're all victims of hate. We're all victims of prejudiceness. All trained. We weren't born with this stuff. Just like those people who want to be lords of the world. They weren't born with that. They were taught that. And you who accept America and all of its pain and sufferings of other places in the world, we weren't born with that. We are accepting that. And we keep it going. Now, as a citizen who came out of Mississippi, a poor nation, where Jim Crow and slavery was paid, really abound, I stand before you today stating that I want peace with you. I want to be prosperous with you. And I want joy, not just in my life, but in every one of our lives. And it's not going to come by trying to trust somebody who's banking on some money that they're getting from somebody else and some deals they've made that they're going to support whoever gave them that money, even though it hurts us. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a system that you just take the money out of. You take the money out of it. And look, in your household, you got a mother, a father, and maybe some siblings. And everybody got a responsibility in that. And they do not receive pay for what they do in that house, but everybody receives the benefit of whatever comes into that house. So I'm saying to you the same thing about the nation. Everybody play their part. And the products that comes from our playing the part is humongous. Now, many of you say that we trade with other nations. We continue to trade with other nations. We might have to, no doubt, change the way we do business with those other nations, but we will do that. And not only do we do that, once we establish ourselves as a light on a hill that everybody can be guided to, I mean the rays on the path that leads to such wonderfulness, hey, then it won't be just words. Right now I'm giving you words that I know will work. But we would have put it together and built what we are talking about, and those rays will be shining just like the rays from the sun. And people can walk down what used to be dark paths and grow and develop. And all of those things that we have dreamed about will come true. We might even be able to change the church and let them know that truth is not in a book. Truth is in our hearts. And while people are walking around here talking about what somebody said however long ago, won't be important anymore. Why? Because we become the reality of life. We don't need a book to tell us that. We don't even need a movie screen to tell us that. We have become that. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, saying goodbye.